All right, how's everybody doing? I am going to shoot this one from the hip like I normally do, no script, one take, all that. And I mean, there are a couple of things I'm planning on going over, like Bitcoin, of course, and some of the ideas as far as where I think it's going, and talk about profit taking, that sort of thing. But also want to talk about some of the short-term plays that we can look at currently. And I'm going to show some specific examples of what is on our Discord currently, just because the signals come on there every hour. And I just want to grab a few of those. We'll look at what they're looking like. And then also want to show y'all how to short sell if you don't know already, which is very risky. Be careful with it. But I think I'll be able to show you some things that might help you. And we're going to look at specific cases right now where there might be some short signals that we can play. I want to practice with those as far as smart alerts, smart money, taking profits, and seeing if that is a top. We did an example with Spell not too long ago where it was the exact top. So yeah, I'm going to timestamp everything as normal. If you want to skip around, that's fine, whatever. And let's just jump into it real quick here. So Bitcoin, currently I've got this on the 30-minute chart just to show that I actually posted this earlier in the Discord that, money flow is peaking. And sometimes when this happens, that's a temporary top for Bitcoin. I'm not saying it's the absolute top, before halving. We could definitely go up some more, sure. I think it's possible that it could be, because this 56, 58K range I expected would be a lot of resistance, just mainly because if you look back here on the weekly, there were a lot of order blocks in this area before where price rejected, and we're kind of right in that area now. I mean, if you were to draw a box right here, and maybe a little bit lower, maybe right there. It's just kind of now getting into that, and I've included that little bit lower area just because of this. I'm just looking here. Yeah, I mean, I could see this one being a rejection point, or this one for sure. But could it get up to here? Yeah. 59 or 60K. I was just talking with somebody about this earlier, what would max pain look like, or what would be the way that the market makers could grab the most liquidity. And I could see a case where, it pops above all-time high just temporarily and then comes back down. I don't think that's going to happen before halving. I mean, I would expect we reject here instead, but I mean, it's definitely a possibility, and you have to keep your options open. You have to kind of think of 2 or 3 different options just in case. And so the way I'm playing it right now is I've got 70% of my portfolio is active, it's in active plays, but I've got 30% of stables because I've been taking profits as price went up. And sure, I might miss some of the, the profits as we go up a little bit, but the thing that I get to take advantage of is if we have a big dip down at some point, and nobody knows when that's going to be. I'm not pretending to know that. If you look at the weekly money flow right here, it's probably about half as high as what it could be. I mean, if you look back here, it was pretty high, getting closer to this line here on Market Cipher before it rolled over. So, it could have some more room up for sure. I'm not saying that it doesn't. I mean, if you go down to, the weekly lags a little bit, you go down to like the daily, it tapered off pretty hard here and almost went red. And usually when that does that, you got a much bigger dip. But notice how the daily lags. So the top was actually here. That was a bearish divergence. But if you're just looking at money flow on a daily chart, it kind of lags. You can't wait for the red. But something like a 3-hour, you could. Like right in here, you could have got out before this dip anyway. Where was that dip? Oh yeah, it was this one right here. So yeah, see how this turned red right there? Yeah, even the 3-hour didn't get you out fast enough, but you did get out before the rest of the dip, not before the big one. And you really have to go down. You'd have to be like on an hourly chart to see something like that. So you would have stayed in as long as money flow was green, then you would have got out when it was red. Of course, when this popped up like that, you would have probably said, well, I'm missing out on profits, but you just wait for the dip, right? I mean, it's really low stress trading. Once you decide to take profits and put it on the side, just keep that there until the dip happens. It's easy. Yeah, even here on the 6 hour, it looks like it's going to be an equal high, well, maybe a little bit lower. So not a true bear div, but it could create one if it turns around here pretty quick. I mean, we are getting a lot of sell-off here in this area. So I don't know that it would be a huge dip, but I kind of feel like it's showing weakness currently. And we'll have to see how these next few candles close to know for sure. I think that's all I really wanted to say there. I mean, I guess there is one other thing I can talk about. So like on the presidential chart that I've showed you before, I'm just following the 4-year cycle. I mean, until something breaks or until something is different, where we have an all-time high prior to the halving, then I'm just sticking to my guns and saying, okay, this is still a 4-year cycle. And has it popped above this breakout line before? Yeah, it has. And it's still come back down. In fact, it's happened every single time. You know, here you got a little bit of a pop-up out of the breakout line that I had drawn from the lower high of the all-time high. You know, here's some wicks right there. There's some candles there just above it. Rolls right back over. Not saying we're gonna have another March 2020 thing. I mean, nobody can predict that. But you know, there could be a dip for sure, and it could be 20 to 30%. Could it come down here to 29, 30K? I mean, it's possible. You know, nobody knows what's going to happen with that. But sometimes the dips are more shallow, like it was back here. It did kind of come back down here, though. This structure looks very similar to this one, so it's a possibility still. I would say 20 to 30% maybe dip is the minimum I would expect once it actually happens. We always get these like that. But anyway, if the 4-year cycle plays out, October 2025 is what I'm looking at. That would be about when the president is elected, or no, sorry. It would be a little bit after president was elected. I don't know why I said that. Well, more than a little bit after, it'd be a year. What I was trying to say is the presidential election after the halving is usually when you get the all-time high breakout. Somewhere within a month or two of that. And you can see it here. This was the presidential election, yellow dotted line here, or vertical line. And then you got the breakout right about there. It was like a month or two after. Same thing here. Breakout a month or two after. A lot of volatility around there, but it did happen, at least in this cycle. So, definitely expect volatility. It's going to happen. Okay, so just real quick, we got some plays that are doing real well. Got some that didn't do so good too. That does happen. But this is a 6X from the bottom where I called it. I told everybody on Twitter as well. If you didn't get in, then it was just one of those things where you didn't have enough conviction. So, if the chart looks good to you, gets above the bullish line, have more conviction next time, and just put a little bit in if you're not real sure about it. But definitely pay yourself as price appreciates. I mean, I really believe in that. You could have taken profit at a 5X, or maybe you take some profit now and let the rest ride or something. Stress-free trading is what I'm going for. Here's another one I think could break out pretty soon here. It's in the very bullish area. And it could stay in the very bullish area for a long time. Sometimes that happens with these. But if it was to get under like the 70 RSI, then it would probably roll over. Yeah, so we got a clear breakout. It's pretty similar to what MOG did. Broke out of the resistance here, and it's just kind of working its way up into a bigger breakout, I think. And this is all dependent on Bitcoin, of course. We want it to keep its gains at the very least. And this music that you hear in the background, if you can hear it, I don't know if I have it loud enough. I'm just, you guys, I was laughing about it earlier. You got some guys that they'll walk while they're doing live streams or something. Well, I need some de-stressing. I don't have time to de-stress usually, so I'm trying to get my de-stress while talking about this. So, hopefully you enjoy it. If not, let me know in the comments. We can play something else or play nothing at all. That's what I did before. All right, let's look into, I think we'll look into some short-term plays currently that showed up in our Discord. Oh yeah, I just got a question in the Discord actually. If you could touch on how you use RSI in your TA, some of the thought process you go through, what you look for would be great. I think you mentioned using it to enter below support resistance if certain conditions are met, but I'm not sure. if it was something or somewhere else. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right. So let me just answer this real quick, and then we'll get into the current plays that we're looking at. Let's see what I want to bring up. So we'll talk about the MOG chart here. I noticed the triangle that it had really early, and I knew the pattern. They don't always play out, but it looked very similar, so I just kind of expected, well, there's a good chance it could do what MOG did before. You know, my support resistance, well, my resistance line would be here. My support line probably would have been, I like to go to like a monthly chart first and try to find where most of the support is. And I'd say it's probably right in here somewhere, although it was doing a triangle thing, so it wasn't as easy to see. And then it had another resistance line right there as it was moving up. It's kind of like a fair value line, if anything. But the way I would play something like this, like say if you were just looking at this, and I didn't have this line up here just yet. Yeah, so here, let me illustrate this better on price action. What you want to see is you want to find your support resistance line where the W and the M meet. And I know that sounds weird, but you know, you'll start to see it more and more in charts, especially on higher time frame. We go like, yeah, this is not bad. Okay, so let me remove this, and actually I'll just remove all the drawings. So you can see here clearly, you know, price came up. It didn't really necessarily work as a support here initially, but when it came back up, it was resistance, and I could probably move that up a little bit. But it worked as resistance, then came back up and acted as support temporarily right in here. I mean, that's why this line isn't exactly perfect. It's more like a zone, because really this was resistance zone, came up, acted as support, and you know, you can make the line bigger if you wanted. So it's more of a zone right in there. So acted as support and then kept that support. And at that time, if we go down to like a daily chart, you know, the RSI had lost the 50. I mean, this one bounced around a lot. It kind of had a triangle on the RSI as well. You could have done something like this even, and just saw where, you know, it finally got above that RSI, and then you knew it was taking off. So there, you know, there's like bullish divergences and a lot of other stuff you can talk about, but typically what you want to see is RSI above 50. And if you see that, well, it was already above 50 there. It's not the best example. I mean, it kind of bounced all around it. I guess this really need to find a better example. Anyway, now I'll find one here in a second. Just think of those W's and the M. So here's your W, where that was resistance, and then it was support temporarily, and then kept support, and then it took off. So if you can get a retest of support, even if it dips a little bit under it and then reclaims back above, if you see something like this where it rolls over and gets back under your resistance line for a minute, but then it gets back above, then that's where you want to enter. And sometimes it's not going to give you another retest like that, it just takes off. But if we were to use another example of, say, like, well, just use Bitcoin. That's a really good one. And just look at RSI. And I can do a whole thing on this sometime if people want it. But we look at daily. See how right here you had resistance at the 50 RSI, got above it temporarily. You could have entered there, but usually that's like it's a warning of a bigger move, or not a warning, but an alert that you're about to get a bigger move up because it finally broke through what was recently support. It's really just like price action. You know, you got these W's and M's stacking on top of each other on RSI as well. But you got above it and it held support there, and then it took off. Could have entered there as well, you know, when it reclaimed that 50 line after dipping below it. But you know, here you had kind of like and there's a lot to this, but here you had a bullish divergence of some sort. Price action was coming down while momentum was coming up. And it shows up on Market Cipher as well, probably even quicker. Just remember, the lower time frame you go down to, the faster you can get your information. So, you know, money flow was still red at that time, and people weren't all that interested in it. And then all of a sudden it went to green and it popped off. So, money flow can be used as well, but just remember on a daily chart, it lags a lot. You really have to go down to like a 3-hour chart or something to get into that move much quicker right here. But see how, it's got a lot of chop. So it's harder to read these signals because it, up and down, up and down. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. Sorry, I'm typing to the Discord real quick. Okay. Let's see what we can find on our signals. Okay, so here is smart money alerts that I have set up in our Discord, and they happen every hour on the hour, and we get to see what smart money is acquiring or dispersing. They're selling, obviously. And then we can also see retail signals where, it's not really smart money necessarily. It's just people, buying off of a DEX, decentralized exchange. And outflow would mean that they're purchasing, and inflow would mean that they're selling, if I can find one. There's not too many right now. Seems like a lot of people are buying. Yeah, there's an inflow right there for Mark. But what we want to look for is trying to find a token that's starting to show up a lot, like especially if we can find it within the first hour or two when it shows up in the smart money. And I found FUMO just earlier. I think it showed up twice. Yeah, there it is right there. So this, well, third time, fourth time, fifth. Yeah, it's been showing up a lot, looks like. So this is one you definitely want to look at in this case. It's got over a 10x recent average purchases, outflow. And if we were to go over to FUMO's chart, which I think I already saved it, I really liked the way it was looking. Oh, I didn't save that one. Hang on. I posted it here somewhere. Yeah, here it is right here. FUMO looks good. First smart money entry in a while. Could put it on other people's radar. Money flow turning green for first time since December. Yeah, so this is the screenshot that I took. I know you probably can't see that very well. Screenshot that I took of smart money flow just a little while ago, because one of our smart money, well, actually one of our smart money was already in it, but one that we don't follow actually entered it today. And what's the other thing I wanted to show you? Oh yeah, the chart. So here's the chart that I had drawn. I'll do it this way because I didn't save it. It looked like a bull flag that was breaking out, almost like what MOG did, except this is a bull flag versus a triangle. So want to see follow through, obviously. We'll just see what it's doing. I haven't looked at it for a second. Of course, these are very risky coins. They're meme coins or whatever. Oh yeah, it did keep going. So even since that call right there, let's see what it shows. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. Maybe it's still exactly where it was. Yeah, I think it is actually. Oh, I'm so stupid. I'm looking at the image. Well, no, it did pump and then it came back down. Okay, so I was right. 12,201. This one I haven't really, did I draw? I mean, I really like this. Like if you put it on a high time frame like this, look at that beautiful bull flag there. I don't know how much further it's going to have to go down though. It could reject here and then come down again and just bounce around, take off. On a higher time frame, you'd probably want to see it pop out of the top here. But I actually put it on a lower time frame showing it. Yeah, I think I had my line down here. This is a pattern I've seen before, and I'm just connecting these wicks right here because it's more of a deviation on both of these. Okay, yeah, I mean, RSI is really strong on this one, obviously. I mean, we're into the 70 range on daily. That's extremely bullish. It actually crossed way back here. I wasn't watching at the time, but this is the good thing about smart alerts. It makes you aware of it. Otherwise, I wouldn't know about this token at all. And then another one I was looking at, what was it? I just gave this one to the group, TSUKA. And the reason why I did, it showed up in one of these alerts, and I can't remember which one. Oh, I could just search it, I think. Yeah, here, well, maybe it didn't show up. So I must have seen it somewhere else. But I did notice that a smart money wallet entered it. It just hasn't shown up on signals yet. So there's not enough people looking into it just yet. But, it's kind of like a bottom play, I think. It had a top here, rolled over. It could take off. I really like the way it's looking because it just, although it is bouncing around the 50 line a lot, it lost it temporarily, got back under it, and now it's clearly back above it on the daily. I think on the market cipher money flow, it looked good too. It was tapering up. Yeah, there it is right there. So it may not be ready to go just yet, but I think we're going to see. I mean, there's a bullish div. No, that's not really a bullish div. There's one here though, off of that. So I'm really thinking it is going to get going. Not, it could take a week, could take 2 weeks. I'm not sure, but it looks pretty good now. All right, so I'm not going to go through too many. Well, there was one more based. I saw that one. I didn't make this a call, but we'll look at it because it did pop up on signals. The reason I didn't like it so much, it's just gone up so much and momentum's coming out of it. Money flow's coming out of it. I mean, it could still take off, but it is hitting key resistance there. I just never know on some of these, even though they've gone up so much. It's kind of scary for me to be getting in after such a big move. Although that was from August 2023. I don't know if it's had enough consolidation yet to keep moving. I mean, there's plenty of plays out there. You don't have to choose ones that have gone up so much. From the very bottom, it's up massive, like 200x or something. Yeah. I'd be more interested in buying it down here at the very least. But yeah, I'm really not interested in this one right now. I didn't call it. All right, let's see if we can find like a short play. This is one thing I wanted to show. These are all outflows. I'm not interested in those. I want to see what smart money is selling currently. And if there is a overlap with retail buying the same one they're selling, that's a really good thing to watch out for. But what we'll need to see is like a big multiple, like a lot of smart money dispersing, selling. There's a 21x on fourth. Let's just see what it's doing. I guarantee you we're going to see that it's dipping. We'll look at fourth. We'll look at meme. And I'm just looking at these that say dispersed. See how fourth is showing up multiple times? I haven't looked at any of these yet. Well, it's going up and, well, no, it went up and then it rejected there. So it looks like smart money is taking some profits here. But I mean, on one like this, I'm not so worried about it. I wouldn't be looking to take a short just because it's kind of down here at support. I'd rather find something that was way up here to short. So if I've got the right one here, which I think I do. Yeah, it looks fine. I don't think there's a short opportunity on that one. Let's look at meme. Yeah, this is closer. I mean, I think this one has more room up, but this is closer to what we want to find, where it was coming up here into resistance for the first time in a long time. So you've definitely got some smart money people that are taking profits there. So if we were to look up, where are we at? If we were to look up meme. Yeah, negative 21 wallets. There is 94K smart money is sold. 2 million has entered the exchange, so people are getting ready to sell. It seems anyway. And here's some of your top wallets that are selling. This may be a market maker, so I don't know that this one actually counts, but this one's been selling anyway. So not a whole lot of selling just yet. Like our wallet that is in this one, our curated wallet that we like, still holds 5,000. Actually, they just bought today. I guess they're buying the dip. Oh, this is the one that uses the bot, so they jump in and out of plays. All right, can we find another one? I'd really like to find one that is actually playable here. Oh, OLAS, we'll look at that one. It's not quite a 10x, but we can look at it. OLAS. PEPE. Yeah, that's a small multiplier, but we'll look at it. Yeah, there's not really a lot showing up right now. I was kind of hoping there would be. Let's look at this one first. Oh, there we go. So notice that, well, that's not the very top wallets, but one of the top wallets, actually a fund, is selling off a little bit. Some of our other ones that have a massive amount, these wallets that we follow, they aren't selling at all yet, and they've got a ton. They must be holding for the long term. I mean, OLAS is a very good token, and understand that when I'm talking about this, it's not going to affect the price of any token that you're in to come down. I don't have that kind of sway. Elon Musk might be able to do stuff like that, but you're not going to see many crypto people that can do that unless they've got a massive following. What was the other one? PEPE. Yeah, this one's just getting started, really, it looks like. But there are quite a few wallets. I guess they're just taking profits, really. Well, this one doesn't really count. That's a market maker. This could be a market maker, yeah. So it's really just these wallets that are selling. It's not that big of an amount, but this could be one we could look at. Let's see. I think from what I saw on the chart, it looked like it was just now moving, though. Oh, okay. Well, this actually makes sense. So yeah, in this case, because you're just now making the first push into this previous resistance right here. Like if I was to go back to a monthly chart, and actually let me put it on weekly, because this is really your resistance right there. And notice how as soon as it hit that, it wicks right back down. I'm not saying it's going to stop. I mean, it can keep going because, the RSI is above the 50. But, sometimes you get a pullback. It doesn't just go up in a straight line. And usually it's like a 50% pullback. So you could do something like this, where you say, okay, it could come back to 160, which we can see that was previously where the kind of the head and shoulders, that's not really the neckline because the neckline's here, but it's kind of where the start of the shoulder was right there. So that could be the support area currently. So this head and shoulders I would consider complete, and then eventually you might get a pullback here. I don't know if you can actually short PEPE, if it has any markets that you can short it or not, but I'll show you if you could short it, how I would do it. Yeah, so there are perpetual and there are perpetual anyway. So you can short PEPE if you want. And here's the markets like, MEXC, stuff like that. So let me do this. Let me bring up MEXC, since a lot of people use that one. And I don't know if it's going to let me do this or not. I think it will anyway. Okay, so let's bring up that. And this is under the perpetual futures portion. So right there, you want to click on PEPE. Massive volume candle. I mean, there's a lot of interest in it all of a sudden. Some people may have 2x immediately if they bought somewhere down here. So what you would normally do in this case, and I'll kind of explain this as I go along, but there's two different types of margin. There's isolated and there's cross. Isolated you would use if you just want to use a portion of your money. Cross you would use if you want to use all of the money across your portfolio to give you a liquidation area that would be a lot less tight. So like with isolated, if I was to set a trade, and I'll show you. So currently I'm on isolated. I wouldn't do any more than really, if you're new, I would do like a 5x at the most, if this is the first time. Okay. Well, anyway, let's say you set this at 5x and you are on isolated, and you put, say, I don't know, 25% of your portfolio. I wouldn't really put that much. I'd do look more like 5% or something like that. If you have high conviction, most people will tell you to do 1% of your total portfolio because it's good risk management. But let's just say you're doing 5% and you've got like 10,000. And so that would be what's my math? $500? No. Okay, let's make it easier. Yeah, that is right. Okay. I was about to say, let's do 10%. Okay, so $500. You go ahead and put that amount here, and you put the entry price. So in this case, what I would normally do is I would just say, okay, I got my isolated, I'm on 5X, just pretend this is 5X because it won't let me do it unless I log in. So I set that to 5X, and it'll say it here. And then you make sure you're on limit order, and then put your price. So sometimes you can just hit last if you want to do it right away, and then it'll pop up a little button here that'll say sell or short. I can't remember it'll be red anyway. Don't hit the buy button, hit the sell button or the short button. And then, say you got in up here, then at that point, it's going to show your order right here. And then all you have to do is, it'll give you some options if you want to set like a take profit area. And on a short, what you would do, of course, is you're setting your take profit area under where you're entered. It's just the opposite of a long. And you might set it down here at like, where most of this support is, like we just talked about here. You might set it just a little bit above that, maybe even above this wick right here. So I'd probably set my take profit at, whatever this number is, 50180. And then when it hits that, you'll get your profit immediately. I think is that about the 50% line? Yeah, so yeah, 180 would be a pretty good place to do it. And then, you're just hoping that this happens, obviously, but you can also set a stop loss. And usually I would set my stop loss at least 5% above where I entered. But you could also set it just above the wick here. And a lot of people are going to set their stop there. So just be aware that a market maker may come up there and stop you out, pump it up here real quick and then pull it back down. So that's going to happen sometimes. You got to be willing to take the loss, but give yourself enough room for the trade just in case a market maker does that. You can even set your stop loss 10%, above your entry, but you'd have to be willing to make that trade, or you'd have to be willing to keep that stop loss there and willing to lose that money. So that's the problem with with leverage trading is you can lose a lot of money if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know how to do your support resistance lines and good money management, taking profit when you should, that sort of thing, sticking to your guns basically. So the other option is to do cross, like I talked about, and it'll say cross up here. Again, if you're just starting out doing this, I really don't recommend anybody to do it, but if you're going to do it, 5X would be the highest, in my opinion, a new person should use. Really, I don't even use anything over 10X, and I do it often. So it'll say cross here, 5X here, and it'll use all of the money that you have in your portfolio instead of just the portion that you enter with. So like if you still just put $500 in here, it'll use that entire $10,000 as your liquidity. And it's not normally going to happen, but there are times when if you're over leveraged, it can wipe out your whole account. So I don't like cross unless you just got a little bit of money in there. I mean, say if you put 500 in here and that's all you had in the portfolio and you did cross, then it's just going to use that 500. I'm just saying, be careful how much you risk on using cross. I prefer isolated, but if you do use cross, just be careful how much money you put in there, because the entire thing can get liquidated no matter how much you enter with. I mean, it'll put your liquidation price very far away from your entry if you've got a lot more money in it versus how much you put into the actual trade. But still, it's just too risky. I really don't like cross. A lot of people are confused by that when they first enter. They don't know what cross versus isolated means. So, if that's not clear, I know I kind of jumped around. If it's not clear, ask me in the comments and I'll explain it further. Okay, so that's just an introduction to leverage trading. Again, not financial advice. I don't recommend it, but you know, if you just have to do it with just a little bit of money, and or just paper trade it for a while. Yeah, so I think this one could roll over. We'll see though. Let me just check here if there's anything else going on. We do have an STP feed, what do we call, it kind of goes along with our short-term plays, where all of our short-term plays, they will pop up here when certain signals show up or should show up. So like I've got fresh wallets accumulated MOG in the last 24 hours. What is it, 809,000, which is a 5x of recent average. So that tells us, and this too, that there's DEX outflow, you know, so MOG showing up twice. It's very bullish currently according to signals. So there's no reason to worry about taking profits just yet, just if you wanted to, you know, based on your profit taking strategy. But if at some point it started to say things like MOG has a DEX inflow of whatever, and it's like 5x or more or 10x or more, and then it shows up again here that says fresh wallets sold MOG in the last 24 hours, then at that point, I would go in and look at smart money, see if smart money's selling. I would look at the chart, and if the chart looks like it's rolling over, then I would tell the members, hey, you know, it's probably a good time to take profits if you haven't already. And then we also have a long-term play feed as well with some of our long-term plays like, you know, wBAI, Mavia. There's other things in here like Cubic, but Cubic doesn't show up on Nansen just yet. And then we've also got one more thing. This is a lot of spam that this one creates, but it does show you what our current smart money wallets are buying. So, you know, there are times where you can go in here and find good trades. So like there's PEPE right there. One's been buying it at a pretty good rate, 15,000. So we don't look at that one as much, but it's good for me to look at every once in a while just to see what smart money's doing. And I think that's about it. I mean, I could just roll through some signals here just to show you what smart money's doing. And I'll just show you the ones they're acquiring currently. I won't go into the charts. Let's just open a few of these here. So there's a 42x average increase. People are acquiring LCX. They're acquiring ASTX. I'm just going to get 3 of them here to show you. And CHZ. And then, of course, these are being dispersed. You know, fourth and OLAS, we just looked at that one. Doesn't mean it's going to come down, but, you know, it's kind of like an alert, you know, that you need to look into it at the very least, or that I need to. So we had a big volume spike, sold off a little bit on LCX, and it looks like it's got some momentum. Oh, okay, never mind. This is kind of like a false signal. This might be a market maker that made it look like somebody bought a lot. Yeah, I mean, it's a really good move by LCX, but I wouldn't be buying here personally just because it had such a strong push since January, yeah. And then ASTX, I think I actually mentioned this one to the group today, and it has gone up a little bit since then. You know, nothing real significant with volume, and it's fairly average. It went down a little bit, had a little spike today, but you know, this is the price action here. It is building good market structure, so that's good. And yeah, we had a little pump here with the smart money holders. It went up today, and this is a true purchase today for 92,000. You know, this is a wallet. I don't really follow this wallet. They do okay, but they don't always get in early, so I'm not really following this one necessarily. But there is one here and another one here that are both profitable that are in this one. There's been a little bit of profit taking over the last 7 days, but also people buying. So overall, there's been more buying than selling for sure. Yeah, so this one looks okay. I mean, it could move. It could continue to move. It looks pretty good. And then we got Chili's. This might be another false signal. Yeah. So market makers moving some money around, so it's a false signal on Chili's. But that's not to say it can't go up. I mean, it has been going up a little bit. It's an older token. I usually don't like playing these from 2018. Oh yeah, it's actually been going up a lot. I mean, for this token anyway, it takes a lot to move it. So yeah, you can see how smart money can get you in plays early anyway, even if it's a $1 billion market cap, which I don't really like playing as much. Let's look at a couple of other things here. Here is a top trade list. I don't really look at this one much, but it shows you who some of the better traders are in Nansen. I talked about this on Twitter. Actually, let me just bring that up. Talked about this on Twitter, how this was a really interesting chart on Nansen for me. Smart money holding the fewest stable coins by percentage since February, March 2021. That was 2 months prior to the April 2021 dip. And, you know, look where we are now. We are about to hit March, about to hit April. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. Currently, it's at 7% stable coins. That means, you know, most of the smart money being tracked on Nansen, they don't hold many stable coins. You know, they're kind of all in almost. But look how, you know, what happened back in February, March 2021. There was a increase in stables. You know, there was a real sudden increase in profit taking. Of course, it came back down temporarily, but then it pumped back up again, and mostly stayed sideways until we started getting closer to. Well, actually, sorry, I went too far ahead. It stayed kind of, you know, sideways and up, where smart money was taking profits all the way to November, which would have been right in here, and then it really took off. So, you know, some of the in the know smart money that knew what they were doing, they knew to be taking profits as things went up. But then you really started seeing a lot more smart money taking profits after the next April. I mean, it's just interesting to me, right? You get that spike of stablecoin flight to safety right around April on each of these. Maybe a little bit after, could have been May, but you know, we know that tends to happen in the summertime, right? You know, a lot of people are busy with summer things, going on vacation, whatever. So you got a lot less people trading, especially the professional traders. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to talk about here. Yeah, not really. Okay. Yeah, it looks like if we look at currency, there's a lot of money going into other tokens, you know, not stables currently. I think 2 days ago there was, you know, people were going to stables, but then all of a sudden smart money turned around and they started putting money into things. So, you know, it's bullish, obviously. We'll just see how long it lasts. I'm still thinking, you know, early March to mid-March, I'm going to really be watching to see if it's time to, you know, take more stables. Because I want to buy the dip, right? I mean, I don't want to miss out on the dip if it happens. So I'm kind of 70-30 right now. I've got 30% stables just to be safe. I think if there's anything else I wanted to show you. Oh yeah, smart money on the DEX trades thing. This is like a live feed. I believe this is right. If it'll pop up here. It's a live feed of what smart money is buying and selling currently. No, here it is right here at the bottom. So you can see this happened like 1 second ago, 8 minutes ago. Currently they're buying things like DMT, MOG, whatever L is. I haven't looked at that one. Oh, that's a 2019 token. Mavia. So it seems like people are buying the dip on this one. Trump, Looks, Omni. So that's just some of the coins they're purchasing currently. And we could look at the dashboard just really fast, just to close this out. See if we see anything else interesting. What is this? Last 24 hours, we'll look at what the hot tokens are. Gala's usually up here near the top. I don't know why. Flip, I actually told the group about that one recently. It's been doing pretty good. Pandora, I wish I hadn't missed that one, but I did. Yeah, look at MOG, it's right there on the front page. 10.5 million smart money inflow and 150,000. No, sorry, that's fresh wallet inflow. So 10.5 million fresh wallet, that's mostly retail. And then smart money's been doing about, whatever that is, 10% of that, 150,000. That's interesting that ratio is 10%. I wonder if it's usually like that. There's ASTX, we just talked about that. Mobia is one that we talked about. Wow, that's went up a lot. I actually called that to the group about 2 or 3 weeks ago. SFUND is one I told the group about. Defrogs, I need to look into that more. Shrap is one we're in. ORDS, we did really well on that. PRISMA is starting to show up. I think it could have a move pretty soon. For a while it showed up and then it went away. Here's wBAI, it's been showing up. That's another one that we called about a week or two ago. So some of these, they show up on smart money and might have a little bit of a pump, and then they go away for a little while, and then all of a sudden they show up again. That's why we have to kind of watch multiple tokens. ALF, that's one we're in. FUMO, I just talked about that one. It could be a good one. So I'm just going to look really quick into these and call it a day here. Yeah, this one had a massive spike. Wow, that's like a 3x or more. Oh, that's a 2019 token, yeah. So we didn't have any smart money in this one, so it didn't pop up for us. I'm not interested in it. I want these curated wallets that I've looked into that I know are good, that get in early. I only want to look at those. This one, I think, went up quite a bit, didn't it? Let's see if any of our smart money are selling it yet. Oh, this was one of the ones that I first talked about that we didn't use our specific wallets, but now we are, you know, to get better quality trades. But this person here is profitable, so you know, they just bought a lot today. That thing really took off. Yeah, so we called it back here, right at the line. Well, it's not as big as I thought. Anyway, it's over a 2x. Whatever, not bad. I think it could go more. So Cetify, yeah, looks like it's trying to get going. This could be a good play here. You know, some volume there. Let's see what smart money's doing with it. Yeah, none of ours really, but one did jump in today. I probably need to look at this wallet. And then Ordi Swap, we did really well on this one, and it's still climbing. Yeah, it was called by you know, one of our TA experts in here. Somewhere here. Yeah, there it is. Consolidation you don't want to ignore. This is not a hodl bag since only 25% is circulating. In the last 24 hours, it has had an outflow increase of 8.7x. There are 2 smart money wallets already in it. And this was 219. It wasn't too long ago, but it took off shortly after that. Yeah, look at that. That's a perfect call. Wow. She did a really good job on this one. And this was all, well, I mean, she knows what she's doing, obviously, but it's also from watching smart money. So that was a 230% move. We actually told people to start taking profit, maybe right in here, 20 cents. Yeah. So I don't know if it's going to keep rolling over. It could, you know, it could do like a 50% retrace. This would probably be a, well, you know, right in here somewhere would probably be a good place to buy if it did roll over, so about the 10-cent range. But if it was to completely retrace all of this, I mean, you could buy a lot right there at that line possibly, because it's just retracing the full breakout. And then Prisma, I mean, this was one we talked about a long time, well, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Haven't really been happy with it because it's been so slow to move. But, you know, this is a nice uptrend for smart money accumulation and new wallets coming in. And there's one that just entered with a lot of money, actually. So hopefully, I mean, we do have a couple of our wallets in it. Hopefully this one gets moving. It is kind of like a bottom play. I'll show you the chart. Yeah, see how it's kind of just skirting the line that I have here, kind of like the support line. It's bullish above here. So a lot of consolidation. I mean, this is since the start of February. Maybe it'll get moving here for people. There is sort of let me just look at something here. It's not old enough to really give me a nice RSI picture, but I wonder if there's any kind of bullish divergence there. I mean, there could be one there and there, sort of. But you're back over the 50 RSI, and that's great. You know, the daily, that's what you want to see. It doesn't mean it's going to take off right away, but it probably isn't too far from doing it, I would imagine. Let's just see what money flow looks like. Yeah, it's kind of tapering back to green. Oh, it did taper to green there. Yeah, I really like this one. I mean, it is a slow one, so you got to be patient with it, but it looks pretty good. And then what's the last one? wBAI. Yeah, it took off. Posted about this one. You know, sometimes I will give people a good free one. I was just saying this one could be saying wBAI to resistance. I try my best to make it fun when I can, but it's like a rapper. You can't rhyme everything, or make it fun on every one of them. Dad jokes, I guess. So gave it to Discord users 2 days ago. This was February 16th, and here is what the saved chart looks like. What did I say again? 216. Right here, roughly, somewhere in here. So it did a 2x, and hopefully it's going to break above, you know, we're clearly above the bullish line, but hopefully it's going to break above this resistance and then take off. Yeah, I mean, it's above the 50 RSI, so that's good. This could be a bearish structure, a bearish pattern, you know, kind of like a rising wedge or something. So I'd say watch out for that, but if it was to come back down, you'd probably want to think about buying a little bit here. Maybe not financial advice, but that's where I would consider it anyway. And of course, if it came down further, you know, that's another good place to buy. I'm not really interested in it as much if it falls back into this range. And, you know, need it to stay above this one, especially because of these wicks here. It seems like there was a lot of buying at that line. So, you know, if it closes a 6-hour candle under this, or even a 4-hour candle, then it could signal that people just aren't interested in it anymore. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna end it there, and you know, hit the like, subscribe. If you got any questions or anything, post them there, and let me know what else you want me to cover. I'll even look at other tokens you want me to look at. All right, thanks.